by the Supreme Court, joy. In the narrow 5-4 decision, the court said today same-sex couples do have a constitutional right to marry in all 50 states.
We went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court to do this. This is more than just freedom for gay people. This is freedom for all Americans.
We're here in the Fairness Campaign office where each year we construct a human balloon float for the Kentuckiana Pride Parade. And we'll be joined by the plaintiffs from Kentucky in Obergefell v. Hodges, the historic Supreme Court ruling that made marriage equality legal all throughout the land. We knew that we wanted to uplift the marriage equality plaintiffs and the plaintiffs' attorneys that started their work right here in Kentucky on those two cases, Burke v. Beshear and Love v. Beshear.
Hello, my name is Greg Burke.
My name is Michael DeLeon.
Michael and I have been married for, well, 21 years, 43 years together as a couple. We filed our lawsuit, Burke versus Beshear, in 2013, and that was just a month after the Supreme Court rendered its decision, its Windsor decision and its Proposition 8 decisions. Both were very favorable towards nationwide marriage equality, but they were very narrow and they only applied to certain circumstances, not all states. So in 2013, we felt like the momentum was moving in the right direction. Just after that, quite a few other states had people introduce lawsuits that went through the federal system that resulted in favorable rulings for marriage equality. So there seemed to be a lot of momentum, and we felt like, based on what was building in the courts and all the precedent that was being set, that marriage equality was inevitable. And if you look at the way the case progressed, it went pretty quickly through the federal court system, through to the Supreme Court by 2015 in June, when our decision was rendered. So it moved pretty quickly.
Yeah, there were, between 2013 and 2015 in the decision, we kind of had a network of plaintiffs across the country, Texas and Indiana, Utah, Oklahoma. And as the lower court cases were winning, there was legal in 37 states by the time it reached the Supreme Court. So that was pretty encouraging because, there are only 13 states left.
When we filed our case in 2013, we'll admit we were pretty ignorant about the way the whole court system worked. I didn't really understand the way that the case might potentially move up. I mean, we filed our case because we wanted just the state of Kentucky to recognize our legal marriage from Canada. We got legally married in Canada in 2004, and our case was just asking the state of Kentucky to recognize our legal marriage from another jurisdiction. I don't think I fully grasped, or neither of us did, the way the case might progress through the federal court system and end up being in front of the Supreme Court. I mean, that's just not something that we had even thought about. It's like we certainly had no idea when we started out that it was going to end up being that kind of a case.
Right. Our attorneys had to give us a basic civics refresher of what we missed when we were in school.
When we filed our case, we did not receive a lot of encouragement. That's one of the things we like to point out to people, is like it was not very popular at that point. Marriage equality was still not a majority issue for Kentuckians, and more Kentuckians were opposed to marriage equality. But then throughout the country too, we've received a lot of backlash and criticism for filing our case, because people in other parts of the country thought that our chances were so poor. Coming from Kentucky, they thought that we were very likely to lose our case, and that might do some damage to the whole marriage equality movement. So it's like when we filed, it's not like we got a lot of praise and slaps on the back. It was like more of just the opposite of that, I think.
Yeah, we didn't know this, but I guess there was a roadmap at the national level. Some national organizations, the ACLU, Freedom to Marry, and that. So we were kind of, and I think our attorneys were too, oblivious of that strategy that this national organizations had, and that's where we were reminded there was a roadmap and we weren't on it, and we kind of made a joke as like, well, we made our own entrance ramp and we're on it now. So.
And as the case progressed, our attorneys thought that they would be able to build a better case if they could add additional plaintiffs. So they kept scouring kind of the local area in Kentucky, looking for people who might be interested in joining the lawsuit. Now, the thing that I'll point out is that in our case, we were already legally married in Ontario, Canada. So we were suing the Commonwealth of Kentucky to recognize our legal marriage. And so that's what our case was about. So our attorneys, as they were looking to kind of broaden their pool of plaintiffs to participate in this case, they were looking for other couples who were legally married in other jurisdictions. So they were able to locate 3 other couples who were married in other parts of the country: Iowa, California, I can't remember. Connecticut.
We had gotten married in Connecticut in 2010, so we'd been together a long time. We just considered ourselves married. Anyway, it was just a matter of the state and the country catching up to recognize it.
I am Tammy Franklin.
And I'm Kim Franklin, and we have been together since 2007, married since 2010.
Yes.
We started out, when the Windsor decision came down, we had already had Shannon Falver as an attorney for a different matter. So we had talked about it. Wonder what'll happen with the Windsor decision. So when the Windsor decision came down, within just quickly hours, we were on the phone with Shannon, and it was like, hey, we could file now for marriage equality. So we actually, because of where we live, we filed in the eastern part of Kentucky, and then the lawsuit in the western part of the Kentucky, the Burke lawsuit came to be. And it was thought that it would be better if our lawsuit got merged with theirs. So that's how that came to be.
At first you just say, oh yeah, we'll do that. Well, yeah, sure, we'll just file and let's go with it, not realizing every little thing that is going to be involved, every step, every person, every thought process. But we were like, oh my gosh, this is a lot, but it's so worth every step of it.
And it's part of the discussion to being involved in the case, because we are from a little bit smaller town. It's a little bit different environment and community. Our son was still in school, so we had to have that conversation, not only with ourselves, but with him, because, he was going to be affected by it. So we had those conversations, and okay, well, why would we do this? Well, for us to make health decisions, each other, and to honor those who came before us and to support those who came after us. So we didn't set out to be that couple in the forefront. And, we've said all along, this was never about one man or one couple. And that's why we typically refer to it as the marriage equality plaintiffs, because it was for everyone. There's a lot of people that came before us. There's a lot of people that come after us that needed marriage equality. They didn't need a label or a name. They needed marriage equality. That's why it was important to us.
It went so fast, going through the decision, going to the Supreme Court, everything was so fast. It's like, it was rush, go here, go there. And we tried so much to soak it all in so we would remember every detail and think about every memory. So that kind of went fast, and then life, kids, grandkids, great-grandbabies, and it has been longer, seems like to me, than it actually is, but then there's times we go, oh God, I can't believe it's been 10 years.
Yeah. 10 years has gone by pretty quickly. I think over the last 10 years we had thought about what it would be like to reach the 10-year mark, but I'm just so grateful that here we are 10 years into it, and gosh, we're still together. Also point out all the other plaintiffs who were part of the Kentucky lawsuit. It was Obergefell. All those plaintiffs are still happily married. I mean, it's just so crazy now that we have been to several same-sex marriages in Kentucky, something that I think we never thought we would see in our lifetime, and now it just seems so commonplace.
I'm Lucas Van Sickle.
And I'm James Wolf, and we've been married for 10 years this year.
And we've been together for how long?
14?
14, yeah.
It was kind of surreal, to be honest, because when I look back on my life, as a young kid and then growing up, I would have never thought we would have been in that place. Like, that would have never happened in my lifetime. I didn't even know if it would ever happen in general.
We wanted to do it with our friends here to get married, and then his mom actually passed away earlier that year, and we were switching houses because I lived about a mile from here in New Albany, and this house we're in now, whew, it was a mess. Like, she had like tchotchkes and stuff all over the walls. You couldn't see the walls, wallpaper everywhere, like
Victorian,
thick carpet and nasty, like. And I was like, oh God, just burn it down. No, I'm kidding. No, we thought about selling it, but it had a huge yard, and we're like, oh my gosh, we can get married here. This will be awesome, and we can afford it. So we just set up like chairs and stuff in the front yard, and we had the whole ceremony here.
Marriage doesn't change what you feel about each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not going to make us or break us. It's like some people say, it's a paper, but it means something. 10 years ago, I was trying to stay hidden, and because I felt like I needed to, and that's how I feel like most gay people felt like, you know, I'm like this, but I don't want anyone to know. And now I feel like it's more of an education process. Like, I feel like when people get to know someone personally who is gay or in the LGBTQ IA plus world, they understand, oh, these are just regular people, you know, because when all you see is what's on TV, it's just a small clip.
Yeah,
it's the gay pride parade in New York, and you see a gay person come down with a feather boa, and you know, because that's their celebration and that's what they do, but that's not our everyday life.
Yeah.
Because I'm out here mowing grass, and he's fixing the car because the tire's messed up, and then I'm doing laundry, and we have an everyday life. We pay taxes, you know, all that stuff, and that's what people need to see, because that's the real gay world, LGBTQ IA plus world. Like, we're just like you know, living life, struggles, you know, same ups and downs. So the changes have really been, I feel like, in me that was the people around me. And I feel like we both have helped a lot of people in our workplaces and in the community understand that this is just like, it's normal. Like, you know, we're just like you.
Frankly, our very existence is political. Whether folks want to believe it or not, the fact that you live openly and freely as an LGBTQ American is an inherently political and revolutionary act still today, in the same way that our love is political and revolutionary and is a pushback against a lot of the rhetoric that would seek to harm us, and that has made its way once again to the forefront of the national political discourse.
Can you talk about pride without talking about politics?
No, absolutely not.
It was getting to be normal. It was getting to be
Just
easy marriage, you know. Oh, and you could, you know, be sitting on the sidelines and, oh my God, there's love. Love's like us. You know, I always say, I love seeing loves like us. And, you know, that's where we were trying to get to. That's where we were trying to be. You know, and we were thinking in 10 years, this 10 years, we would be there. We would be where we didn't have to fear and see all the beauty of it. We're kind of in a crossroads at this moment with that, because it's so much hate out there right now. And we're not trying to think that way, but we have to think that way.
You know, 10 years ago, I would have never predicted that, you know, we would have such attacks on anyone with a difference, you know, but it's alive and well, and I said it before, I hope, you know, we can trend this back to a respectful, kind America.
All in all, it doesn't matter who's president or who's in charge, or, you know, that's going to happen back and forth, but you have to find stability in your own life, and then that's what we've done, you know, and we just, whatever comes our way, you know, we have to fight for what we fight for, stand up for what we stand up for, but we have to still persevere and live. You know, and I'm not going to live, and he's not either, in fear every day of, well, what's going to happen today? Because that's just stressful.
More so than political differences is, you've got your differences, we've got ours, but your political differences or morality is not more important than our legality.
We've been out front for a long time, and a lot of times we say, you know, well, let's let somebody else do it. You know, we're getting older, we're getting tired, and but we go back to that Tom Petty song, you know, I won't back down.
You know, we fought this fight once before and we won. And if we have to, we'll fight it again.
Yeah.
And And we will intentionally be, you know, on the forefront if we have to be this time. We weren't intending to be last time, but we fought this fight before, and we won this fight. So if we have to do it again, we'll do it again.
Okay, does anybody need one?
Comfortable is going to be wearing all these balloons.
After the decision in 2015, you know, we really felt like we had accomplished something by sticking with it and doing what we could for as long as we could. So I mean, I don't think we have any regrets at all about our experience.
A few years ago, we were at a Pride event, and someone introduced us as the marriage equality plaintiffs to a younger lesbian couple. They didn't know what that meant. And the people that introduced us said, "Doesn't that bother you?" And we said, "No, that's the point. That's part of why we wanted to be a part of this case." Is that so those that came after us, those younger couples, didn't have to go through what we went through.